Beautiful young lady over there in the corner. Okay. What's her name?
Chloe.
Chloe? She's the only one that can vote today.
You're in charge.
Hi, Chloe.
She's so cute.
Connecting you to your conference, which is already in progress. There are 16 other parties on the call at this time. Are joining the call as the host. You may touch pound 0 at any time for conference.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Can you close the doors, please? Rich DeMattis, are you online? I don't hear him, but otherwise I think we have a quorum with the other 6 board members here. So we have a quorum. This is going to be a relatively short meeting. I appreciate you all coming, but it's just because of the sensitivity with everything that I felt that it needed to be called in connection with what we're doing. First, in connection with the resolution that was passed last week, I just want to clarify Section 3 on the second page. The board shall direct the association's architectural review board, the ARB, to take actions within its powers to prevent the construction or and/or modification to any unit for the purposes of a business or TPLE, and to provide notice to any applicant that businesses, including TPLEs, are prohibited from being operated in any unit. Really what that means is we've asked the ARB to make sure they make full disclosures to all applicants who are building or planning to build residents within this community. And so I just want to make sure we clarify that. That's really with respect to the resolution for clarification. Secondly, we're starting formally we're setting up committees able to address all the issues that we believe we have the resolutions to go forward and to come to resolution. Next, yesterday I had a very good meeting with all the presidents of all the other boards from Cinnamon Beach, and we had a very productive meeting and an open meeting about how we can work together in connection with both this resolution and dealing with the issues that affront us all within this community. And we will be having a face-to-face meeting, a real working meeting next month to be able to deal with these issues, and hopefully we'll be in a position here as our board to be able to have what we believe are the appropriate issues and how we can work together to solve the issues we believe our community has. And lastly, with respect to the ARB, last Thursday they had a meeting, and during the course of that meeting there were a number of applicants with very large homes and large numbers of bedrooms, and there was issues with respect to whether or not those homes would impact the community negatively, and within the powers of the ARB, they were asked, well, what do we do to correct these? And what the ARB did last Thursday, and I'm sure there'll be more coming forward from that in the planning criteria, they indicated that in order to not impact negatively the community, that no more than 7 bedrooms in any one home would be allowed. They must have at least 3-car garage and 3 parking spaces in the driveway. So they did something on their own in that regard. That makes sense. Excuse me? So that's something they're doing, and it's putting into their planning criteria. That's really all I have. Anything on the board that they want to raise? Questions or anything?
You're going to talk about committees?
I think we'll just do that separately. We've started putting together names of who wants to be on committees. With respect to that, once those committees set up, to the extent that we can use members of the community on those committees, we would love to have you and help in that regard, and I'm sure the chair and co-chair people of those committees will call upon people within the community to help and get input with respect to that as well. Okay? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? This meeting is over. Open forum?
Can we ask questions?
It's an open forum.
Now we can.
Can you elaborate on discussion?
This is Rich.
Oh, hi, Rich. Thanks for coming. Okay, you're here. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been on all the time. Some people listening need to mute their phones. It's very hard to hear.
Thank you.
All right, Ed
That's
Giancarlo, Willow Shore, this way. Can you elaborate on what you discussed with the other boards, the Cinnamon Beach boards, the condos, and the homeowners board?
In essence, that with respect to the resolution and what we're looking at here, that this is something for all of our communities, and we want to work, work together in that, and they agreed to do that. And so we're not operating this board individually and separately. We'll be working and hopefully working in close contact with them and getting input from each of the boards and seeing what's in the best interest of the entire community. So that covers the Cinnamon Beach condos, the Cinnamon Beach homes, and all of our Ocean Hammock POA. It includes all homes, condos, and all owners, unit owners, residents, etc. So all I can say is I thought it was a very positive meeting, and that we will be sending out a letter together the next couple of days. So.
Can you elaborate on what the resolution is? I've asked for copies of this document.
They will be going out either this afternoon or the first thing in the morning, so you'll have it.
Can you give us a synopsis for us? Because the only correspondence we've gotten is from other parties.
Rather than holding up everybody, I'll be happy to talk to you after the meeting.
I'm sure there's a lot of people. I bet you're not holding up
Well, it
anybody.
doesn't affect the condos, right?
We don't even know
We
what
don't even know. I think that's what we're asking.
It is.
And I bet you there's a lot of people in here that wouldn't feel held up if you elaborated a little bit.
I really don't want to read it again, okay?
I don't know. I haven't actually seen it, so.
Nobody has seen it yet. It's coming out. No, it hasn't been released. It's coming out.
This is probably one of the few occasions, and I've been here 10 years, that I've seen this many people from the HOA together. This might be a great time to share with
But
us.
it was done. What's your name, sir, by the way?
David Forney, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm happy to share it with you separately, and anybody else who wants to go over it again separately, I'll be happy to do that.
That'd be great.
Any other questions?
Yes. At the meeting where you did read it, and I appreciate what the gentleman's saying, it was read once, and it was something I think we all expected to see a little more quickly on the website so we could look at it and digest it. But you also indicated you'd be coming out with implementation dates, how it was going to be, for lack of a better word, enforced, what type of sanctions and so forth. Are you anywhere near to having those things done? Because I honestly thought that's what you're going to be discussing today, when I'm
No,
seeing disclose and clarify.
It's, as I said last week, it's going to take time. And so the committees are going to be working on those things and dealing with those things. So those committees are in the process of being formed now. They'll be formed before the week is out and starting to work. And then that process will start. At the next regularly scheduled board meeting, we'll have more information about
And what are the committees? What are the functions of
it.
the
We're still determining those.
Sir, how was the resolution brought about? I mean, was it a committee that came up with it? Were the minutes ever documented anywhere? Because to me, it seems like this was done, behind the scenes in secret, and maybe that's okay by the bylaws or not. But clearly, I mean, we knew nothing about it until it whacked us in the side of the head. Some of us made financial decisions based on the fact that this was okay, and I understand the concern that people have expressed and acknowledge that. But there's a lot of us here who have a financial interest, and this candidly, I have a house on market. Now I have to disclose that there's this action going on, right, to anybody who's interested in buying my house, and there doesn't seem to be a resolution to the resolution. So how long will that go on?
Well,
And I'm just curious how this whole thing came about.
this process has been going on for quite a long time. We've had many discussions with legal counsel, okay, and we've had other discussions in board meetings and discussions, for quite a period of time. I can't tell you exactly how long. With respect to, when is it going to be resolved? As soon as we can. This happens to be a very complex issue.
Exactly.
Okay, and there's a lot of parts to it, and we want to be sure about all the parts, and so we are going to be taking due care in connection with that.
So let me just quickly ask, the resolution was...
But wait, there's one at a time. Let me finish. And then,
I'm glad to hear you say it's complex, and I also tend to read a little bit of flexibility into working with the other boards and how the resolution is ultimately implemented?
I think I was very clear what I said.
Yeah. I'm just asking.
I think I'm very clear in what I said.
So there's flexibility involved. Thank you.
The word communication, working together,
To make sure that ultimately the community is
correct, for the common good of, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, and your name, please?
I'm Luke Hughes. I live at on the Hammock Beach Park. I don't actually know where I even stand on the issue because I frankly have no idea what the resolution is about, other than it involves rentals. Okay. So at what point was it read to the community or to the?
At the last board meeting.
Okay, so it was read in its entirety, but it was not distributed to folks that were not at that meeting.
It hasn't been distributed to anybody.
Okay, but it has been approved by the board of directors.
It has been approved by the board of directors,
Okay,
and as a result of what we just did now, to make sure on the clarification, it will go out.
And then the homeowners association members will vote on that resolution?
No.
So you're saying that it's already been voted to implement the resolution that
The
I...
resolution has been approved by the board.
So the negotiation is essentially, for whatever the issue is that won't be shared with me by folks that may or here today, has already been approved.
I said I'd be happy to talk to you.
Right, I understand.
That resolution has been approved.
Okay.
To have a community vote, it would have to affect the master documents, okay? The CC&O. Okay. Certain things may come about as a part of this process that we may want to have a change those master declarations. If those changes are requested and desired, then you will have a chance to vote on all of those issues that have come up to change the master declarations. And I would suggest that just so, there are probably certain things that will be asked to be voted on by the entire community with respect to changes. Okay? In that regard. What they are today, I don't know all of them, but there are.
So the requirement, so it's not required that the membership vote because it doesn't require a change to the master documentation.
Because it's within the power of the board.
So the board basically unilaterally made a decision to pass a resolution without the broad vote of the community? That may or may not be true. I'm asking.
I mean, I just disagree with that statement.
I'm just
They
asking.
probably had a lot of input from single-family resident homes, I'm guessing.
This is something that's been developing over a long period of time. And so, as a board, we have a responsibility to do things, and we have done it. Okay? To the extent that it requires unit owners' approval and a vote, we will do that as well. Okay? And to the extent that it makes sense to do that, so that once and for all, everything that we're discussing and you hear about and what we will come up with gets resolved, hopefully we'll be able to put that into so that it can get resolved in the master declarations as well. Yes, sir.
I appreciate the authority to take action to but I'm not a full-time resident of one of them here, and have owned multiple properties here over the 10 years that I've been involved in. This is the first time I've had an opportunity. It was coincident that I could be here for it. And as you said, this is a complex issue, and I would think that I'll bet I'm not the only person in this room who has questions about this resolution. Lots of questions that we may never get another chance to ask, because as you said, the board's been engaged in this for a long time. There's a homeowner nobody's ever talked to me about. And I don't know, I've actually even asked, since it's an open forum, I'd like to ask how many people in here were asked about this resolution as part of this process. And I'll bet you it's a minority, but I will assume that. And so I think this is a great time for you to explain the resolution. Wonderful opportunity.
I think I've answered your question.
No, you haven't answered my question. What you said is you'll meet with me later, and I appreciate that.
I don't understand what you mean by explain the resolution.
Tell us what it is. Most of us hasn't even heard anything other than the fact that we want to restrict rentals. That's all we know. I'll bet you most of the people in this room do not know much more than that. Just raise your hands. How many people know?
We do know. We came to the last meeting and we did know.
I'm sorry you haven't been to any other meeting. You could also call into a meeting. These are open meetings. Okay, so you could have been in attendance. I'm happy to talk to you separately, okay, to the extent I can. And I think that's all. Any other questions?
Can you hear on the other side of this?
No, we cannot. Somebody has not muted their phones. We have children in the background.
If the president can give a quick synopsis of how the meeting started, there was not enough lines to initially, so can you please re-explain the beginning of the meeting?
Very, very simply, the beginning of the meeting was a simple clarification of the resolution that will be going out either today or tomorrow based on how quickly May management can send it out. I indicated with respect to we're setting up committees to deal with the various issues surrounding this resolution. And third, certain policy decisions that the ARB made in their planning criteria last week with respect to responding to questions from potential applicants wanting to build single-family homes anywhere from 9, 10 bedrooms and more, as to what can they be looking forward to as far as direction and guidance. And the ARB came back and said that the ARB is putting in a policy so that homes being built at a certain size, that 7 bedrooms, okay, is their recommended limit of bedrooms, as well as 3-car garage, as well as spaces for at least 3 cars in the driveway. That is the sum and summation of everything that's taken place till now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Comments allowed?
Excuse me, you have the person with children mute their phone.
Please tell people to mute the phone.
Everybody, please mute your phone so everybody else can hear. Well, if you can't mute your phone and you're having noise in the background, either get off or close, the speaker part of your phone so other people can hear. Thank you. Yes, sir?
I think the board absolutely has the power to enforce existing covenants in our amended declarations without a vote of the homeowners. And that's all they're doing. It's within their discretion, and they see there's a problem. There's been a huge hue and cry, and so they're doing something about it. It's within their discretion to do so. If you have a question, look at your amended declarations. The only structures you can build in here are detached single-family residences. And that has a definite legal definition. A single-family residence is a residence built for a single family. And it's clear, and no one should be surprised that a 10-bedroom, 10-bath house is not a detached single-family dwelling by any definition. Now, as to people surprised by a change, I bought a lot that's zoned for single-family dwellings. So if there's anyone who's been surprised or has been financially injured by all this, it's me and people like me who bought in a development that was going to be single-family, and we end up having mini hotels next door to us. So I don't want to hear anyone saying, oh, this change is somehow injuring me, because you were on notice what was correct and what wasn't. And if you decided to get cute and go into the gray area, you have nobody to blame but yourself. Certainly not this board, and certainly not your neighbors. That's all. Thank you.
Any other questions?
For my edification,
Yes,
did
question.
any of these extra large bedroom houses get through the ARB process? Were anything approved before this change?
I think in the past there has been. I don't know.
But in the pipeline today?
In the
to be built?
pipeline, they have not.
Very good.
Submitted, and to my knowledge, I wasn't at the whole meeting, so I don't, but when the part of the meeting I attended, they were not. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. In reference to what you said, the house next to me
Just a minute, Rich.
started as a 5-bedroom. That's what the county has it as. All of a sudden, there's 7 bedrooms materialized, and as the last rental thing that went out has now become an 8-bedroom. Plus, who knows? So, just, you know, the ARB has no control over that. I know the county went to the builder and said, hey, what's going on? Did you really build a 7-bedroom, which is being advertised, or did you do the 5 that you submitted? So, you know, I don't think the ARB doing their job with other different. And I get 7 cars, I get 20-some people staying.
Thank you very much. Rich, Grammatis?
Yes, Paul, when someone asks a question, it would really help those on the call to repeat the question, because it's very difficult to hear anybody other than you.
I apologize, but we're done. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you. Sorry about that. We'll try to do better next time.
Yeah.